In this video, I'm going to be going over the other four strategy cards: Trade, Warfare, Technology, and Imperial, basically the ones that I didn't go over in the previous video. So we're going to start here with the Technology strategy card, and we'll start with the primary ability. So let's activate Technology and confirm our choice. So how do we resolve Technology? Technology happens in two discrete steps. The first one is to research one technology, and that happens for free. The second is optional, to spend 6 resources to research a second technology. So to do this, the first thing that you're going to want to do is select the technology you want to research. Now actually the order doesn't matter here later on when we go to spend resources, but let me just stick to the order of the card here. So first thing, research one technology. How do we do that? Recall back in the first video that your unresearched technologies are in the grayed out deck. And so over here, you can double click whichever of these technology cards you want to queue up to research. Keep in mind that you're going to have to double click one that is allowed, one that you meet the prerequisites for, right? So right now we have plasma scoring. So that means that we could potentially research Megan Defense Grid or any of the base technologies that don't require us to have any other techs. So perhaps we'll go with Starwing Tools. So let's double click Starwing Tools. And then you'll see here that to finish resolving technology, we're going to go and click Resolve Strategy. And this will bring us to a screen where right now we don't have to do any resource selections. The game is just telling us to research the first technology. So we can just click the green check mark and research Starwing Tools. And now you'll notice that it actually appears in our owned positioning alongside plasma scoring, and it's gone from the other deck. Now comes the second step, which is optional, to spend 6 resources. So perhaps we want to do that. Let's go ahead and maybe research, let's do a neural motivator. And now when we go to resolve strategy, this is where we have to select the resources, the 6 resources. If we try to just confirm here, we'll get insufficient resources. So we have to spend a total of 6. Again, you can do this through combination of planets and or trade goods. So I can do, say, Muat and Lirda 4. If I don't like that, I can actually just toggle these on and off. What I can't toggle are trade goods, so I have to click the reset button there, and then you can just reselect. But I'll do my 2 planet cards perhaps for 6 resources, and I'll confirm neural motivator. If you don't want to do neural motivator and you changed your mind, you can always go back to the main board and double click another card. So I could do anti-mass deflectors now if I want. And then I can say go resolve strategy. Still have those planet cards selected, that's fine. And I can research the second technology here, and there it is. So that's technology primary. The secondary is similar. It's 4 resources to research one technology. Of course, you do need that strategy token. So Bob needs that strategy token there. But let's just pass through this because it works essentially the same way as you just saw. You would go resolve strategy and just go ahead and select the planets along with the technology there that you had researched. So we'll click pass on these other players. And that is technology. So Charlie will end his turn. Up next, let's go and activate the trade strategy card by double clicking it. So trade is similar to politics and technology because it's broken down into discrete steps. They're pretty quick to do, especially the first two. So the first one is gain 3 trade goods. And again, you can undo this activation until you proceed to confirm these selections. So gain 3 trade goods, very simple and straightforward. You click resolve strategy. So let's just bookkeep this. Right now we're at 9 trade goods. When we click resolve gaining 3 trade goods, we're up to 12. Now replenish commodities. So we're at 0 to 6. When we resolve this, we go to 6 of 6. And finally, this is the part where we have to do some decision making, which is choose players to replenish. To do this, you click resolve strategy, and now you click the tokens of the players you wish to replenish for free. So let's go ahead and replenish Charlie for free, as well as Alice. So we'll confirm this, and the other players get replenished. Now what happens is, because the other players have been replenished, they actually don't gain those tokens right away, because if you go back and read the trade strategy card, it says that the players you chose will resolve the secondary ability without spending a command token. So they actually don't get them right away. And this is probably to facilitate trading opportunities. So now if you go over to Charlie's tab, if you try to pass on the secondary ability of trade, you'll actually be told that you can't. So we actually have to resolve it. But you'll notice that although we have 0 strategy tokens, we resolve, and we're being told that if you have been selected, then you won't have to lose one, and we don't even have any, so we confirm, and now you can see we're up to 404 without having to spend that strategy token. Same thing will be the case for Bob, so we'll resolve there. And going over to Bob's player info tab, Bob has been replenished for 2 to 2. So let's end Alice's turn. Up next is the Warfare strategy card. So let's go ahead and activate the Warfare strategy card. The primary ability is broken down into 2 steps, but they all happen in one timing window. The first is to remove the command token from the board. Then we'll gain that command token and redistribute it with the rest of our tokens. So first thing, if you to select your system to remove the command token from, you double click it. So for example, we can see we have a command token in our foremost system here, and that could be optimal to remove a command token from. So we'll double click that, and we'll be told that we've selected that system. Now we can proceed to redistribute our command tokens. To do that, click Redistribute Tokens. You'll see here that we have a total of 6 tokens. If you look at our player info tab, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that extra token is coming from us removing it from the board. So let's distribute 3, 2, and 1 perhaps. And let's confirm our choice. And you'll also notice that you'll get a message here that says you are safely meeting fleet requirements in each system. So what does that mean? If you go back to the board before we confirm, you'll notice that we actually have 2 ships in this system. So what would happen if we reset this choice and we only choose 1 token to be present in our fleet pool? When we click confirm, now we're being told that we're over fleet restrictions in the following systems: New Albion and Starpoint. So what would happen there is if we chose to confirm this, we'd actually come up to a new stage in the game where we'd be told to remove ships from that system. We won't do this now, but just be prepared to read these confirmation prompts to make sure you don't fall into that trap where you'll then be forced to destroy ships. So let's go ahead and do our 2, 3, 1 distribution. Now, the secondary ability is way different from the primary, and what the secondary ability allows us to do is to spend a token from our strategy pool and actually use production from a space dock in our home system. So going over to Alice's tab, you'll notice that And this is why it's important to pay attention to the turn indicator. We're actually being asked to resolve an ability when Alice uses production. And that's because there's certain cards that can be used when production happens. For example, one of the new Codex cards, War Machine, can be used here if you had such an action card. But we don't have that card, so we'll just pass on this ability round. And if you're not sure, again, you can click the help button, and the game will actually specifically say how to resolve an ability before the secondary ability of warfare. And it'll actually, here, it'll tell you there's a appropriate timing window here to use. This is a Wanu faction ability, so it's not in this game, but hegemonic trade policy, for instance. We'll click pass here. So to resolve the secondary ability of warfare, the first thing you need to do is manually select the planet that has a space dock in your home system. If you just try to click build units, you'll be told that, first of all, you can only use production in your home system. So first we have to click our home system. Then we have to click the planet that has the space dock, in this case, Arets. So we click it, and now the space dock has been selected. Proceed to build units. So if we click build units, we get to this screen, and this is the build units screen. To build units, the first thing you're going to want to do is determine what resources you want. What resources you want to use that will go towards your production. Again, you can go back to the main screen by clicking this button at the bottom right. Right now, we have one carrier, one cruiser, and 2 infantry. With a fleet pool of 3, we can actually produce one more ship in here, and even fighters if we want. Our space dock has production 4 because it's +2 to the planet it's on. So we can produce 4 units. Excuse me. So going over to build units, let's go ahead and take a look at what ships we want to build. Perhaps we'll build our flagship. So that costs 8 resources. Now, let me remind myself if I have Sarween tools. So actually I have Sarween tools, and this is something I want to emphasize in the app, which is that if you forget something like that you have Sarween tools. So I want to build my flagship, and that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, +1 trade good. So now I click commit resources. And again, before you do this, you can toggle these, and you can click the trade good counter to toggle that. But now we'll click commit resources. So now, if we want to build our flagship, we click it, and if we change our mind, we can click the, I believe it's the unit model, and that'll toggle it off. So, and maybe we can click another ship like this carrier a couple of times, and we can toggle those back to 0. But let's say we want to build our flagship. Now, without really realizing it, although I do realize it, but just for emphasis, we're overspending by 1 here. And the nice thing about the automation here is it will tell us that we're doing so. So if we click confirm, we actually get this warning prompt that we're overspending by 1 resource, and that's because we have Sarween tools. So we don't want to do that. So let's reset these choices, and we don't even have to spend that trade good. We'll just exhaust our planets. We will commit our resource, and then we'll go ahead and build our flagship for 7 resources. And we'll confirm. We'll get redirected to the home screen, and now you can see there's our flagship on the board, the Wrath of Kanara. And so that's the warfare secondary ability. Go ahead and pass the other player this. And we'll end Bob's turn. Okay. Finally, I think we're on the last card for this video. Let me double check. Warfare, trade, technology, yep. The last card here is the Imperial strategy card. And it's a pretty straightforward one. So we'll activate it. So the card says that we can immediately score one public objective if we fulfill its requirements. How do we do that? The public objectives are in these two decks, which we can see here. So we can see there's two objectives right now. Control 4 planets that each have the same planet trait, and control 6 planets in non-home systems. So we can't score either of these, so if we attempt to double click, the game will tell us that we cannot score because we do not meet the criteria. And that's how you score these objectives, you double click them. But we can't score them right now. So instead, what we can do, what we can do is the second part, which is if we had control Mechatalrex, we would gain 1 victory point. Otherwise, when we go to resolve strategy, we'll get that extra secret objective. So if we click resolve strategy, it'll tell us how to do that. Otherwise, we'll just pass because we can't score objectives, but we'll get distributed that second secret objective here. The secondary is the same, except the players have to spend a strategy token to receive that secret objective. You would click resolve strategy, but we're not going to do that here. We'll just pass. And we'll pass here. And that's Charlie ends his turn. And so that's Imperial. Okay, so that is all 8 strategy cards. In the next video, I think what I'm going to do is probably go over the trade interface. And now that we have some components in the game, I'll show you guys how to utilize the trade icon up here and perform some transactions. Okay, well, that's it for this video, and look forward to seeing you in the next one.